Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the X-Force Global channel. Thank you very much for joining. I am here to make sure I update Bitcoin's price action on the daily as the price action continues to shift and see what probabilities lie upon us, and most importantly, which scenarios have the highest weight with the current data being given. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. And the first idea that we're going to be talking about is that flat continuation that still has the highest weight for more continuation to the upside. Again, to quickly recap, we have this wave 3, 4 of the largest degree here, and we're trying to figure out whether we're going for that fifth wave of this final blue wave of this final fifth wave. So we have this flat possibility as being completed, and that is currently what we want to be doing. We want to be saying that this is the beginning of some kind of new continuation to the upside. So if we pull up that flat idea, which has the highest weight for the bullish idea, we can say that the flat, for the most part, has played out very nicely. If we're going to say that this was the bottom, we didn't necessarily hit the Fibonacci of the 618, but we did reach that 1618 extension of the A to the C ratio. So if we look at this being the impulsive move off of the lows as a wave 1, we said that this is wave A, this is a wave B, and this is a wave C. Wave B still is subjectively being accepted, and if you are not sure why I am accepting this as a B wave pocket zone, please do go back to my previous video where I do talk about a case study on why you could also be accepting wave 2s with wave B pockets and going highly extended beyond the 1236 and the 1382 zone, and we've hit that 1618 just very nicely. So there was a price reaction off of that, and we did get this nice 5-wave impulse to the downside, breaching the origin of wave A as a 5-wave impulse. Now, whether this is being completed or not, this is going to be determined on how this move here is going to be completing as a 1-2 of some sort without breaching this low here. In the case we do breach that low, no worries. We can still have one more opportunity on the local time frames, saying that this was a wave 1, 2, 3, 4 as an expanded flat for wave 4. And then we can say that we're going for one more move to the downside for that C wave. However, I would like to just say that this is possibly the bottom, and really I don't want to ideally even talk about the local time frames as much, and just really say that we're going to be getting out of here as quickly as possible, because the further that we do retest these lows, we're going to start losing investor confidence again. So with each move down, the investor confidence is what really is going to be taking into consideration from a market psychology perspective. So for the most part, I would say that this one too has a relatively good look for the time being. So this flat structure currently has the strongest weight for any bullish scenario, but we do have one more idea that I think is also coming into play, but a little bit too early to call. So we have this possibility of a new diagonal being played out. We originally said that the leading diagonal of the expanded variation was playing, but that also got invalidated, which is not a problem because we did have that flat idea as the main scenario. And since we breached that low of that origin of this wave over here, we are saying that this is now possibly leading us into a different leading diagonal variation, but it is too early to call for the time being. Instead of saying that this move off the low was an impulse, as I've said, we can subjectively say that this was also a ABC going into wave W and X and then Y. So this move over here can be deemed as a three-way move. And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, in my opinion, due to the overlaps over here, I can say that this is a three-way move going into the beginning of a subwave 1. And alternatively, we have going into an A wave, actionary wave instead of wave 1. You can say that this is a B wave instead of wave 2. And then we can say that this was a 5-way move down. Internally, similar idea for that wave 3 or 5 completion that we had. So if we're going to be saying that this is now the ABC, this could be the bottom of a possible subwave 2. Again, the con to this is that it's too early to call and only the subwave 2 is in place. But alternatively, if we're going to be saying that this is going to be moving up as a three-wave fashion instead of an overall impulsive move, and then we get a rejection of some sort, come back into the territory of wave 1, we can also say that this is a diagonal in the making with a contracting look of some sort as long as this scenario plays out. It has to play out perfectly once again, and that is why I don't like to call these diagonals too early, but I'm here to entertain you to the ideas that as long as we're deeming this move here of this flat idea from that wave 3-4, the longer we correct here, or the longer we create this idea of a 1-2 being in the making, whether it's a flat or a diagonal idea, the better it is for the bulls, because it shows us that we're in a consolidation of some sort for a wave 1-2 of some sort. And then we don't even retest the bottom of these lows again. And that gives us confidence that this was a protected bottom. So again, this idea is a little bit too early to call, but it is an idea to be keeping in the back of our mind in the case that we do get more price data in the form of 3-wave, 3-wave, 3-wave for that wave 1, giving us a contracting look for that diagonal. So that's one of the scenarios for the bullish ideas. So those are pretty much the only two bullish ideas that I have. I would say that this 1-2 flat is pretty much the last straw for how the bears or the bulls are going to be playing out, whether we get one more low or whether the low is in, just due to the fact that we did get retested very closely to that 618 Fibonacci retracement, and that we had that 1 to 1.618 Fibonacci of the A to C ratio. I would say that we're really close to what is going to be a breakout if this local time zone is going to be playing. So if we look at the local time frame, we did get a very nice 5-wave move up for that wave possible 1. I like to say that this was the bottom of a wave 2, and maybe we're creating some kind of nested structure, but again, we want to see these lows being protected here. Okay, so if those lows get protected, we could still go for a deeper ABC and then go up, and that'll still give us that internal structure of this being completed, and then we're working for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, going into a possibility of that extended wave 3 of this degree here. So that'll be the beginning steps of how we can actually get back out of this personal range, breaking these tops as well. So that's the overall bullish scenarios. Now, we do have to talk about the bearish scenarios since we got that first impulsive move off of the tops from this local region. So if we're talking about the bearish idea, how can we fit in that bearish idea? Well, if you looked at my previous videos, we talked about a lot of market inefficiencies happening within this region here due to the overlaps here. So if we have a lot of overlaps, we can still say that this is some kind of transitory phase for a larger possible B wave going into a possible C wave, because we now have more data, and that hybrid scenario of that possible C wave can be turning into a possible wave 1. So that's the hybrid idea of these actionary waves. So what happens here? Well, if we have this double zigzag idea coming into play, instead of replacing that AB, we can replace it with this as a WX wave, and saying that we don't have to work with a flat scenario that has completed. Instead, this is still being the continuation idea of a bearish scenario where we have this ABC going into wave W. Internal structures remain the same for wave X. And this right here was that 5-wave move into wave A. And then we created that first leg for A, and this transitory phase, if we're taking into consideration for the line chart, this could also be that 3-wave move for wave W of this WXY, and then we can say that this was the B wave internal structure, and say that we're going for now what is going to be possibly the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That still gives us a pretty relatively good look of the structure. But until the lows break, nothing is validated. This is just an idea, and it's still giving us that bearish scenario possibility. But at this point, you'd be either too late for getting into shorts, but that's the point of this idea, because once we do breach these levels, I do expect it to be violent for that wave 3 continuation completing, and then that will be the continuation of the bearish idea going into that possible C wave, and then would finish off this Y of this larger double zigzag scenario. Now we do have another possibility that I am coming into of showing you as an entertainment. We can say that instead of that being the double zigzag, we could say that this originally being that idea of an ABC, we don't even have to say that this was the flat. Again, that was a hybrid idea that this was the 90%, right? We could still say that this was an ABC of some kind of move to the downside that still keeps this actionary wave of that diagonal idea of this move here, and say that was the beginning of a W wave. Now, if we're in this new transitory phase, we could even say that this, if this was a 3-way move up, we can even say that this is going to be some kind of 3-way move, possibly another 3-way move, and that'll create what's possibly known as a larger X wave, and that right there, ladies and gentlemen, could be that beginning of a larger correction even deeper into the 53, even the 52K regions if this scenario were to play out. So we're going to be monitoring this idea, but we're here to make sure that all scenarios are presented in their utmost respective fashion. And I think that this could be another W, X, and Y where we just continue to range in this region, just lower than the regions that we've been consolidating here, and then final move to the downside is the possibility for that bearish scenario. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think those are the current ideas. I think that these two bearish scenarios have its weight as well, but for now we have to stick with the bullish idea because we didn't break any regional lows. I think this wave 1, 2 has the highest weight for now, whether it is completed or we come for one more move down for that fifth wave, final wave, and we come back into that golden Fibonacci zone, and then we're out of here, or we create that idea of that diagonal idea where this is still being created and we just don't know. Overall, both of these ideas have their weight, and I think that they are very, very highly possible if we do secure these regions, and I think we will for the time being with the current price action. So I think those are how I'm gonna wrap it up. Thank you very much for joining. I will see you guys in the next videos. If you're not following me on social media, please do follow me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at XForceGlobal. If you would like to join my membership group where I do update all the charts in a timely manner, please join me on XForce Global Discord membership. Link is in the description below. Thank you very much. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.